Hi, I'm Amber Dancy, CEO of Practical Rebel, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Robin Mayberry. I'm the CEO of Robin Mayberry Creates, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Robin Clare, and I'm the Executive Director of the Seniors Job Bank, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Megan Selzy, and I'm the CEO of Next Step Education, and you are tuned into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, my name is Shannon Malkin-Daniels, founder of Speak Success, Public Speaking, Communication, and Confidence Coaching, and you're tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Marianne Pack, CEO of Envision Greatness Press, and you are listening to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
All right, on with the show. So today we have one of our members who is so kind and so generous. She is a best-selling author from the Live Your Optimal Life anthology, which came out in October, and best-selling co-author. Congratulations on that. That was awesome. And she is going to share with us today her vision board activity or visioning activity, because it's really not just about the board, right, Annette? It's more about living in your vision. And I thought this was a really fresh and exciting approach to this whole vision board idea, because so many of us have, when it comes to, and I say us because sometimes I struggle with this too, right? So many of us, we have we have embraced law of attraction in a way, but we sometimes maybe struggle a little bit with manifesting. Some of us, we've made vision boards in the past, and it's some things on it have worked really well for us, some things not so well. Some people, they haven't been able to get their vision boards to work for them at all. So I feel like I always welcome a new approach, a new opportunity to look at certain ideas, because what I learned for sure from my personal experience is that it doesn't work exactly the same for every single person. And the thing that might make it ping or make it tick or make it really, really make sense for me is not going to be the exact same thing that it's going to be for you. So bringing all perspectives into the conversation, I think, is a great idea. So I want to welcome Annette. And Annette, it's all yours. Take it away. Tell us what we need to know about our heart and our home and our vision.
Yes. So I'm Annette, and I'm an intuitive design coach. So what that means is all of you focus on people's lives, and then I help them integrate it into their homes. So if you think of a bird in its nest, it's really helpful when everything's around you. So for example, last year at this time, I lived somewhere else. I had no idea I was going to move. And I created a vision board for my business. And it was for my, I didn't know what my business was yet. I knew I was rebuilding a business, but I knew I wanted to kind of get real clear on how I wanted it to feel. And so when we talk about manifesting, when we talk about vision boards, it's so much about feel versus the actual look. And when you look at this vision board and you look at the office I live in now, you're like, wait a minute, I can really feel how that came to life. This was a beige room I moved into with a white couch. And obviously that's changed over the last few months. So what I'd like you to do is just for a minute, take one hand and just shake it while we're talking. Shake it for all of the times, like you're racing to get the packages wrapped. You're racing to get all your stuff done to get off for the holidays. You're racing to make all the cookies. You're racing, right? Like all you're doing is running. It's the holidays. You had your teeth worked on. There's wind outside. Like there's a million things to do, right? Okay, now stop. Now feel that hand and then feel your other hand. And you guys can come off mute. So what do you guys notice? Do you notice any difference?
Yeah, one hand's warm and one hand's cold.
Yeah. So one of the things that we want to do first is just take a big breath. You can stand up or not stand up, but I love for us just to take a big breath and come together. For this moment, it's just about us, just for this minute on 12:18, whatever time it is where you are, and just take that big belly breath in, filling up our lungs, filling up from the back, the sides, and then release everything outside this moment. So we're going to take one more breath in and release. And if you need to shake anything out, just shake it out and get it all out of your body so you can be right here, right now, in this time, in this place. So feel your body now. Do you notice any differences?
Yeah, warmer.
Yeah, I can feel my toes tingling, right? So we, in 2023, this year was called the Water Rabbit Year. And what that was all about, so this year was all about release, all about letting go, all about cleansing what doesn't work for us. Okay. And guess what happens in mid-February? We move into wood dragon. So does anybody know, like, what does wood symbolize to you? Like when you think of a tree, it's more growth, right? Like when we think of water, we think of all the cleansing and all the washing away. When we think of a tree, we think of rooting in and really growing big. So one of the things that I really want us to think about and just jot down, and we're going to do this in our group with something else, is I want you to jot down, if you could release and leave anything in 2023, what would you release? Maybe it's people pleasing. Maybe it's too big of a to-do list. Maybe it's an overscheduled calendar. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe, what are all the things you would love to just release and leave in 2023? Okay. All right, so now we're going to shake all that out, let it all go. And so this is one of the things that when you think of a gazelle and it got chased by a tiger, you'll notice it gets chased, right? And then it goes to the water and it's safe and it shakes it all out. It leaves it all behind, right? But we as humans try to sit with it. We're like, yeah, that doesn't feel good. I hope it goes away fast. And so this whole shaking is just a fun thing you can do to let it go. And when we do energy first in our vision boards, in our space, that's what we're doing. So those of you that work with a body, when you do energy mapping of a home, there's organs and body parts that go into each part of your home, believe it or not. So that's what this class does, is it does the vision boarding part and then it takes it to the next level. Yes, tremor release therapy. Yes, thank you, Dr. Tanya. I love that. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do, has anybody watched the movie Elf with Will Ferrell? Like sing aloud, sing it proud, how fun can we have, right? So since it's the holidays, what I want you to write down now is I want you to come up with at least 10 things, at least 10 really fast that are fun. It can be a nap, it can be coloring, it can be dancing, it can be cooking with your kids. It does not have to be something complicated like going to Disney World. It can be small, but what are the things that are fun to you? I love to watercolor, I love to paint, I love to make silly decorations like my little monster behind me. To write at least 10 things. And when you have 10 fun things, you can look at me. So what I'd love for us to do in the breakout is to share what we're choosing to release and to share what fun is to us and how we're going to add it into 2024. And then we'll come back and do the next part.
Okay, I am going to go ahead and put us in breakout rooms. So let's see. Here we go. So you can go ahead and just join the breakout room of your choice. And I'm going to say goodbye to our friends over on Facebook for a few minutes, and then we'll come back to them. Yeah, so I'm no longer managing the whole universe. Like in the morning when I wake up, I will no longer say to the sun, hey, sun, it's time for you to rise now. You know, I cannot take that on anymore. That is no longer my job.
You can't do it. It's too big a job and you don't need. I wanted to ask you about the water and the wood.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit? You said 2023 is water and 2024 is wood.
Sure.
Sounds like fire theory, yeah.
I'll do that in 1 second. I will put that on my cover. Okay, so I want everyone just to tap into how it felt like to talk about fun. Where did you feel that in your body? How did that feel? So I have a husband that's very formal, and I just moved into this home. I just got married, and he had all these crystal bowls, like everywhere. I've never seen so much crystal. This is what I did with it. His mother about died, okay? Because it's fun. Like, this is what I love to do. Like, come marker, come create with me. So when you think of that feeling of fun, when we create our collages, we create whatever we want, but it's the feeling. That's how we manifest, right? It's the feeling, the vibration. It's the same with our collages. And then I have an energy map I show you and teach you. If you're familiar with feng shui and the bagua and all of the different cultures, they're all actually really the same. After designing and drafting 400 homes and studying all of this, I was like, it really can be way simpler. We can just do a tic-tac-toe on a room or a house, and I can show you how we can make this work. Okay, kids? And then each quadrant has an element of nature. So it might be tree, it might be water, it might be earth. Each part has a body part. Sometimes the universe helps us by giving us a body part that maybe wants more attention than others, or it helps us by getting really tight. I have lots of chiropractors on here, and some of them are releasing being the controllers of the universe. They're like, it's like trying to hold water, right? We're just gonna let it go and have fun. And I loved Wendy Lee shared that she doesn't put doing, she'll put like creating her lead gen, creating whatever she's creating, so that we're creators instead of workers. I mentioned that we are in a water year. So in Chinese medicine and Chinese feng shui, every year gets an animal and every year gets an element. And so each of our personalities also we have every element in us. Every home has every element in us, but sometimes there's a little more dominant. So water is the more dominant element for 2023 and all the things that come with water. And then the more dominant element for next year is wood. And so then when it combines with the animal, it gives it its special characteristics. So every dragon year is different, or every water year is different. All of us women here are really special because we're all helping someone else. That's what we do. We're all using our beautiful magic and healings and all of those to share it. So what I wanted to do with the vision boarding class, and I put it in the comments, was give it to you at $29. So there's just type New Year when you go to register. And the first week we'll be creating our vision boards. You can do it electronically, or you can do cut and paste like I like to do. And so we'll do that together. The next week we'll explore where we need to open space or release. So I always tell people, if you come back with a great scarf and you open your closet and there's no room for it, what are you going to do with it? So once we have the feeling we want, we then have to release something, right? So that there's space. Then the next week, I'll teach you the energy map of how to make a tic-tac-toe and learn how to ask yourself the questions. It's not going to give you answers. It'll show you, I always say it's like the rearview mirror, right? Like you're looking through you're driving like crazy and you can see ahead, but you need that rearview mirror to be like, oh yeah, wait, that's coming up on me, or wow, I didn't see that. So that's really what an energy map does, is like, oh, this is an interesting place to be curious about. This is a place to wonder. And then the last week, we'll kind of pull that all together with what action can we take? Because we've spent 4 hours together. We want to make sure we're creating some action to move forward with, whether it's redesigning our house or it might be redesigning our schedule. Sometimes that's why I say it's your life by your design, because your home and your life. And if it's a certain place that you cleaned up, you're like, oh, I realized that my career area is piling full of boxes all the time, and you're not dealing with something in your career. Every time it piles up, you're like, oh, what am I avoiding again, right? And so it's just a hint. It just gives you a little hint. So that is what the class is I'm offering in January, if anyone's interested. And all I encourage you guys to do is really think about what is fun and add that to your calendar. And what do you want to release? Burn that sucker before the end of the year in the fireplace. Let it up to the heavens. So that's really what I have for you today.
I was wondering if we could have everybody just pop in and share a little bit about what came up for you when we went into our breakout. So I was thinking we could start with Tanya, since Tanya hasn't had a chance to share yet. And Tanya, you can share who you are, what you do, so that folks who are here on this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful networking group can actually know what you do. And then you can share what came up for you in your breakout room.
Well, thank you, Dr. Davia. It's always a pleasure to be back here, and it's a pleasure to join you again. So what do I do? I'm Tanya Tyler. I'm the CEO and founder of Confidence Strides. Primarily what I do, or been doing for the last 4 years, is I've been hosting a podcast. I do 20-minute interviews. We are going into playlist 15 in February. So we usually have on an average 36 guests for the year. And as we're going into 2024, we are bringing in more courses on how to produce your own podcast, all that wonderful stuff. So yeah, what came up for me is I think I was sharing with my group. What really biggest thing is I've been I do a lot of collaborations with people. And so what I've been struggling with is feeling the need of having to do it the way they do it. You know, when I take over something from somebody else, I feel like, oh, I got to do it the way they do it. And I just realized to myself, I am embracing who I am and doing it the way I want to do. Some people will gravitate towards me and some people won't. And I'm okay with that. So that's where I'm at in 2024. It could be because of my age too. I just don't really, I'm not hung up on it anymore. Too old for all that mess. So that's where I am. I have tons of fun and I love being who I am.
I love that. I love that. Annette, just curious, what would you say to Tanya in terms of, you know, the new year being the wood dragon year? How does that relate to what her goal is for 2024? Ooh.
It actually is really in alignment for you because it's all about a rebuild and a build and accelerate year. So helping people do their podcast to accelerate and become more authentic and in them is like the whole energy of the year is right with you. So it's so in alignment. So I'm so looking forward to so many great podcasts thanks to your help.
That's wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful. Mina, how about you? What was coming up for you in the breakout?
Okay, so for me, it's letting go of fear. And I was specifically thinking fear of like the unknown or the future, like what could happen is what I'm wanting to release. And then in order to bring in more fun, some of the things I was thinking that I wrote down that I like to do is like exercise classes, more dinners out with friends, relaxing on the couch, talking to friends on the phone. And one of the things that I really want to do, and I think it was Tanya, I'm not positive, but we're both saying that we want to do more reading self-improvement books because I enjoy doing that. Like I love it, but I don't make the time to do it. And it's something fun. So that's one thing I would like to do. And then the other thing I was just thinking in conversation just now was letting go of more of the stuff in my house because there's so much stuff and it builds clutter and it doesn't feel good either. So that's one of the things I need to release too, just letting go of things and being like, okay, I'm done with it. I don't need it.
So I would advise you to get some boxes.
Yeah.
So I have a love it box. So this is one of my favorite exercises is, is it a juicer or is it a zapper? So juicers we're like, I love this. Like I love this, but this notebook's done. So why do I still have it? Like it's filled out. So this is definitely a juicer for me because I just started it versus one that's complete. So then you either love it, you use it, or you let it go. Now, let it go can mean it just needs to go. It can be recycled, it can be donated, it can be sold, whatever. But then some people get stuck because they're like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't think I want it, but I don't know. So I call it the time capsule. So you have a box that you date on the day you're choosing to open the space. And you box it up. You can put it in your trunk. You can put it in your garage. You can put it, just get it out of the physical house. And then in 30 days, if you haven't went to get something from it, you probably don't need it. You can just load that whole thing in the trunk and donate it. But it takes the stress out of making the decision right this minute. And when we're talking about fear of the future, lots of those things are holding that energy on you. And so releasing them is going to be so healing. It's just going to be so healing. And when we talk about going into February, so you have all the way until Chinese New Year's to do this. Don't feel like you have to do it by the end of the year. We got plenty of time, girls. And if you just do a little bit each weekend, it goes a lot easier. Pick a room. But when we talk about trees root in. So if we're struggling with fearing about the future or needing an end game, the tree energy is to root into now. And that's how you can utilize that. So right now, keep using the water energy to flush and clean out. And then be ready when February comes to root into the now and me. And you always are enough. You always have enough. Everybody's whole and complete. They don't need you to hold the whole universe together, even though we think they do as mothers of everyone. So that would be my encouragement. And I'm so excited because the cleansing work, even if you just clean one drawer, celebrate that. Do not be like, oh my gosh, I only got one drawer done. And the next drawer is going to beg you to come because you celebrated the first drawer. So just little pieces.
And then another thing that sometimes helps me, especially with clothes, so I have gotten rid of a lot of clothes, is using, I think it's Marie Kondo, her method of like, does it bring you joy? And if it doesn't, get rid of it. So like I was holding on to some clothes that are like baggy, they've gotten baggy from the wash or just stretched out. And I was like, nope, they got to go. They're not bringing me joy.
And that is huge. So when we want to be something, if y'all write your B for next year, like I want to be a badass power businesswoman that's intuitive and helping others or whatever you want to be. If it doesn't make you feel like that, get rid of it out of your closet. There is only, you do laundry every other week at least, so you only need 15 pieces of clothes. And if that's all you're left with, but they make you feel powerful and who you want to be, that is so much better than a whole bunch of things that don't make you feel aligned with who you are. Because as soon as you say, I want to be, you're already it, girls. We're it.
You just changed my whole life. You have no idea. My closet thanks you. And this is the perfect time for me to do it because we have a lot of boxes coming in right now with all the, holiday gifts and holiday things that we've ordered. And I have a lot of boxes. What would happen if I just took a box to each room and started, especially with kids, like my kids are growing so fast, and just start transitioning some of their clothes and doing stuff like that. I think once I get started, it'll have a snowball effect. I would love to invite Marianne to share what came up for you when you were in your breakout room.
Yeah, it's definitely more feeling thing, more emotional things. Like for me, it was just releasing the resistance that I have, the fear, doubt, or whatever things that get in my way. And so I've been thinking about the decluttering thing and been thinking I need to be doing that. It's one of those another things that I need to do because I definitely want to open the space. I want to open that energy. I understand the Bagua, so I get it. I look at my house and I go, well, there's some stuck energy and there's some stuck energy, And for me, coming in, some of the fun things is like, continuing to have those art days with my granddaughter on Fridays. We have 20 pictures now that we've done artwork for. So it's been that many weeks. Just continuing to do my writing because I get so inspired when I write. I get these inspirations and I go, oh, I want to take that further. And so I start writing. Continuing to spend time outside on the porch and watching the sunrises, family get-togethers. But and something I've been putting off too is just dragging my sewing machines in. I've sewn for all my life, and just the last several years I just haven't allowed myself to do it because it's just like, where would I put them? It's just one more thing to stack up in my house, but yet I don't want to go out to the cottage outside and I try to heat that for the winter. I want to just bring them in. So, just clearing space for them for that activity, so.
I love that. I want to invite Annette to really share how, her perspective on the things that are coming up for you, Marianne. And I also want to say hi to Sophia, who I haven't seen in a little while. She's one of our members. She's joining us over in the Facebook group. But I want to say hi to her because I know she was offline a little bit for NaNoWriMo, when we were all supposed to be unplugging and writing. And she seems to be the only one of us who actually has been doing that. So I want to say congratulations to her for that. All right, so back to you, Annette. Tell us more.
Well, I can't wait for Dr. Tanya because she sewed what she has on, so she can inspire you. And sometimes it's as simple as a bubble bath. Like you had such a list. Sometimes you just need a shower or a bath and just let it go. You can do anything with water, but you had so much on your list that maybe it's just if you really want the sewing machines, you have so much going on. So I would really say what's the most fun and pick your top 3 and then focus on that specific area because you just got so much going on. So anyway.
Well, that was for the list of 10 things that you were telling us that we were supposed to choose. So that's why I threw in those things.
So yes, you can do, I would say, just remember everybody, it is still water year. So anytime you want to release anything, you can get in the shower or bathtub and you can release it. Super easy. See you later. And then just choose your top things you want to bring in and make the space for that. And then let the rest be what it is.
There you go.
I like that we're talking about, the water because everybody who knows me really well knows that even though I'm an earth sign, I'm a water baby. And so water speaks to me. And I just discovered recently, I know I sometimes miss the boat on things that are happening in the world. I just discovered recently shower steamers, folks. Shower steamers are now my new favorite thing because Annette and I were talking the other day about baths and she was like, oh yes. And she was telling me all this fun stuff to do in the bath. And I'm like, I love water, yes, but I don't do baths. I do showers. Like ever since I had my babies, I don't have time for baths. They will be like knocking on my door in 5 minutes. So yes, there's an opportunity to make the time, but also shower steamers, folks. It will change your life. Dr. Tanya, you want to share with the group what came up for you in our breakout?
Yeah, I had a lot of things that happened this year that were physically about me. And so I was dealing with, okay, I'm a healer. How come this is happening? So there was a lot of that going on. And what I'm getting rid of, what I'm releasing worry, unworthiness, fear of rejection, and comparison. Because those are the things that just pull me up short every single time. And I'm putting in, I had a little success party last night when I finished this project, but this part of this vest, this is a linen tablecloth. And the back is a different material, but I had this really great experience of making a dress out of an old linen tablecloth that was probably 100 years old from my great grandmother or my grandmother, I forget. But I made a dress out of it. And it came out so perfectly. So I thought, you don't want to put linen in the cupboard. It's beautiful linen. It should be out where you can use it. So I started doing that. So upcycling things and making things new out of what was old. I mean, it just gives me of doing something for the planet. I'm not buying for the planet. And I'm getting linen. I mean, for crying out loud, that's pretty expensive material if you go buy it off a bolt. So I felt it kind of feeding my soul at the same time. And so what I'm adding in is more creation, more, I just did a video this morning for a lead magnet that I have that I'll put up in Ladies Power Lunch when it's completely finished. But doing things like that, I love doing that. It's the part where I'm looking for people who are interested in actually putting some commitment behind dealing with their own issues. When I'm doing that, and I make sure that I'm doing my self-care, that works perfectly. But that whole issue of really taking care of myself, because we are easily distracted from taking care of ourselves, so easily distracted that we can really let things go to the extent where now there's a diagnosis for what's physically going on. So it's very interesting to be able to come up against that in this year. I just turned 63 2 weeks ago, and to have that, thank you, to have that change, like, come on, are you going to do this? Or are you going to keep ignoring this? So it's been a really eye-opening year for that. And I'm very blessed to have a husband who is always telling me how wonderful I am. So I have so much to be thankful for.
I love that. Any comments, Annette?
I just love the self-care. I think that's a good reminder for us all. Because I notice for me too, I take care of others to avoid taking care of myself. I love the idea of upcycling. We're upcycling ourselves every year, right?
Yeah.
I love that. I was like, wow. So this scarf is actually permanent marker and alcohol because I didn't like the scarf underneath it.
Cool.
So you can do all kinds of fun stuff. I also love one of the things about tree is experience, meaning a tree literally roots in and goes with the way the wind. It experiences whatever's happening around it, but it doesn't have a lesson to learn. It didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't really care whether the sun comes out or doesn't. So in the upcoming year, we're going to go into, and that's what we're visioning board for, is just understanding we're here to experience it. That's simple as that.
I love that. That's beautiful. And I wanna I was hoping that we could all get a chance to share what came up for us. So I still haven't heard from Carlene, Wendy, and now Sophia is coming on, so we can include her in the conversation. So Carlene, you want to share, and then Wendy and Sophia, you'll have some time to hear what it is that we're talking about, and you can come up with your own contribution. And Annette, just jump in and set us straight. And then at the end, I want us to talk a little bit about doing the vision boarding together, because I'm going to be a part of your group.
These are all enlightening conversations. I like the tree going with the flow because I've learned since I'm about Dr. Tanya's age is that you kind of go with the flow. So I don't really fear the future because like, well, let's see what happens next. Let me get some popcorn and stay tuned. But I find that I tend to be a people pleaser and there's all kinds of issues coming up. And I've been spending the last 2 years helping to take care of an elderly neighbor. So a lot of things have gone by the wayside. So now we're trying to take care of the clutter at the house. But one of the problems we have is that we've got generations of clutter in the house. And I have a family member, my sister, who is hanging on to things. So we're trying to negotiate those kind of issues.
So just remember, if you have any kind of lineage that has been refugees, it may not be this time that you're healing. It may be anybody in your past. So I know there's tons of people here that can probably help with that. I don't specialize in that part, but for many people, when they're trying to release things and they're seeing a lot of contrast, it's a lineage thing. So my husband's Lebanese and huge. We had to really heal some major lineage for him to make room for me to move in. So just know that, and that might be a place to look, and can be very healing for you and the generations after you.
Thank you so much. And then Wendy, can you share?
Absolutely. Man, there's some good stuff here. I had to
know.
go to my 4th page writing down all this goodness. And it makes sense, of course. So when I was in the breakout group, the thing that came up for me the most was continuing to let go of having to know what the end result is. And I loved, Carlene, how you said like the go with the flow. And for me, there's a couple of other levels to that. So not having to know the final outcome, doing the energy first, Annette. So following the energy and then taking aligned action, which to me activates that becoming, right? When we say this is what we're becoming, what I've noticed of myself in the past is that if those 3 elements don't come together, I can either pendulum swing way over here where I'm uber masculine, I'm doing it all myself and I'm not doing the other stuff, or I'll go way over here and I'm just a limp rag waiting for everything to happen to me because flow is happening and then shit don't get done. So if I can kind of swing in the middle here with combining those 3, it's easier, it's more fun, it's simpler, it creates room for things to show up that then I can respond to energetically. So that's been the biggest thing. And that's what I'm incorporating in all of my programs this year. Because it's like we kind of get in this little space here, but when you can activate all of it and take some action, we got to take some action. That's been the biggest thing. So yeah.
I love that. And I love the take action. So if you need to take action, any kind of reds or fire things can be helpful in your environment. So if you're like, oh, I want to take action, you can light a candle as you say that. You can, so those are the things like you're like, okay, I'm going to send my lead magnet out. Good job. Then you can light your candle, I'm sending my lead magnet, right? Like, and then every time that candle lights, you're like, I better check that lead magnet. How many people have come in? So you can kind of create some environmental cues for yourself. But I love that reminder of take action. So yes, you need energy first, but you got to act.
Yes. Love that.
Love that. And then can I invite you, Sophia, to just pop on real quick? Can you share with everybody who you are and what you do? And then we're talking about what we want to release for 2024 and a couple of fun things that we like to do. So things that we will incorporate for 2024.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Sophia. I do quite a few things, but I guess for this context, I'm a writer and a podcaster. I do other things, but no, they're too boring to talk about. But
Being a dentist isn't boring.
I'm a dentist. I'm an academic. I teach at university now. I'm an aunt. I'm a sister. I laugh very hard at my own jokes repeatedly.
Same.
So those are, and I like to watch sunset, and I'm a story listener. So I'm all those things. So yeah, very oh, Mina, I hope it went well. Yes. So yeah, so all the things. What do I want to release this year? I think it's the fear of rejection. I realize that, there are a lot of, I was just saying to my sister, I always have ideas. I have so many ideas. Like I said, I have a podcast. I just randomly started. This will be one of the fun things I started doing. I started doing some design. I'm not a visual person. So to me, that was just mind blowing to like actually be doing design. And I've like been creating all these things I love to create. I'm always creating stuff, but I never want to put it out there. Or I'll put it out there, but I never want to like promote it because I always get that fear, even though I've done it before. I find like every time I do something new, I keep worrying about it. So that's the thing I probably want to release, is a fear of rejection. Fun things, as I said, I started doing some designs, which has been a lot of fun. And writing is always, I came in when I think it was Marianne was talking about writing. And so for me, writing is always brings me fun. It always brings me joy. And music. I joined a choir recently, and I've always been like, I've been music my whole life. And so it's just been nice to bring more music back into my life. So yeah, that's been fun. Thank you.
I love that because I think everybody has a fear of rejection. And so one of my favorite stories is she walked in to get toothpaste and she was like, it's not like when I pick up Crest that Colgate starts crying that I didn't choose Colgate, right? Like we don't think of how many times things get rejected in our lives. And so I always remember that when I'm like fear of rejection, I'm like, oh, well, I just wasn't Crest when they wanted Crest instead of Colgate. So sometimes since you're a writer, it's writing your rejection story and writing right? Like, so we're in the year of the water rabbit, I was telling everyone before you got on. So a great way to do it is if you want to release the fear of rejection is you can just wash it off. Like I'm washing off any fear of rejection because I know whatever happens, I can root into my tree energy that's coming up, which will start in February, and just experience it and go with the wind of it. So it's kind of a way of finishing the year and starting next year and kind of shifting. And everyone had lots of fun things on their calendar, like going out with girlfriends, lots of girlfriend stuff that we're not doing enough of. So I encourage you all to pick out a girlfriend outfit out of your closet and just hang it towards the front and then make that date. So even if it's sometime in January, just make the date. That's the whole take action, like Wendy Lee was talking about. Like if we just take action and get it on the calendar. If you want to play more games, have your game night, get stuff on the calendar and even look at what clothes would I wear? Am I going to wear my cozy pajamas to play game night with my kids? Or what am I going to, really start to think about what do I love and how do I want my life to look? And that's kind of what we're going to do in the vision boarding is really get the feel for what feel do you want for the year? Because the feel is where we can come back to and it resonates in us and we are the home. So even if somebody rejects us, even if somebody, we didn't hold it together and somebody's angry at us, you can go back to your feel. So that's a way that we anchor it in. And then we use this as our visual representation. And then I teach you the mapping. So you can see my office looks very much like the vision board I had for my business because this is where I do the business. And we'll also talk about nature's elements. Who feels better in nature than they do inside? Who goes out to nature to reset? I see a nature picture behind me now. So the more we can integrate nature and understand how it works with us, the easier it is. I had an artist make the hummingbird. I don't know if you guys can see that. The hummingbird is literally just ascending. And he said it was meant for me. His name's Ray Goodluck. And it was for every woman that gets on a call with me. It was from his mother's lineage. And it's all about we don't need to keep flapping our wings. We just need to allow ourselves to ascend. So that was one of the messages that I was given in October. Since I'm on this call, it's for all of you too. So how can we ascend and allow it to be fun and easy when we go into 2024? And that's what vision board energy mapping is kind of all about.
Annette, can I ask you some questions about your vision board course that's coming up? And I want to ask you these questions. I don't even know the answer to these questions, but I've already decided I'm signing up, but I want everybody who's catching this to be able to make an informed decision. So like, what are the people who are going to join? What are the kind of experiences that they're having right now that would make them want to be a part of this program?
If you already vision board and it's collecting dust and you're not even sure where it is, this is a way for you to integrate it. If you are somebody that's never vision board and you're like, I don't know what that is, it's a good way for you to experience it. So those are probably the two categories. If you're someone that is kind of on the right track, on the wrong track, it doesn't matter. So if you just think you want a goal for 2024 and you want it to be different than 2023, then come join me and we can explore. It's about your self-trust and what you need. So I'm really just facilitating an experience to hold for you and give you tools for your toolbox.
And I'm curious, what have you been through in the past that made you do your vision board this way?
So I've done vision boards for a very long time and they've always come true. And then I was like, I still feel empty inside. So I left an abusive marriage and it was $75,000 in debt. And somehow I was 50,000 in the positive the next year with the house, with the car, with a whole business built. And so I was like, I should feel really good. I went from living in my car to having all this. And I felt completely empty. And so in that discovery, I became really clear on that it's an inside job and it's how we feel. And then when I got that, I was like, yeah, but then I still have a hard time integrating it because I'm not holding it. Like my environment's not holding it. So then I realized I needed to integrate it into my space. And so then every year I realized it helps me shift my home and shift my life. So people that come into my world and into my home and my business can feel the new energy and help me hold it.
So specifically, who is this program for?
Business owners, entrepreneurs, healers, leaders, anybody that has a home and has a business or is like that. And if you're looking to open space, a lot of times you cannot start clutter clearing if you don't have a strong desire for what you want instead. So sometimes the discomfort takes so much. So we either make a change because of a discomfort or because of a desire. So if your discomfort isn't great enough, maybe you can create a desire and that'll get you to go to the next level.
But I know there are people who are probably watching along and they're thinking to themselves, yeah, this sounds nice, but I'm going to put it off until next time. What happens to the folks who put it off? What is their reality going to look like?
They're probably going to stay where they are. So what that means is if you create, so most of my clients that do their vision boards and then shift it into their designs, it changes their life, their trajectory, meaning a decade from now. So those people that started with me in 2014, when I started doing this, they keep coming back because they're like, we never thought we could have the life we have now, but now we know how to cue into ourselves and what's next. So most of them have made big changes. If you don't do a vision board or you don't learn how to energy map and how to help your environment support you, a lot of times you're spending more time dealing with things and then you takes away the focus to be able to do your work for you. Does that make sense?
Makes
Like
sense.
if you just clean it up and get yourself set on the roadmap, it's like trying to find somewhere without Google Maps. So if you're in a new city and I say, hey, go find the drugstore, and I don't give you Google Maps or a map, and you just keep driving around, you'll find a drugstore eventually. Like you'll go to Main Street, you'll find it eventually, but you could have found it way faster if you had Google Maps. So this is kind of that same scenario.
So tell us a little bit about the details. How are you delivering this program? How much does it cost? Where can we find more information?
It is $59, but I'm giving you guys a coupon for New Year for being part of the Ladies Power Lunch. So the coupon is New Year and it's only $29. It's going to be delivered on Mondays from 12 to 12:50 Central Standard Time. I do still have a lot of my corporate people that love to take it. So that's why it's during a lunch hour. And then I did a bonus January 1st. I know it's New Year's Day, so it's just a bonus day. That'll be 1 to 150. And I'm just literally with my besties, and you can join in with my besties and have a little fun Annette day. But that's just a bonus if you want to do that. And so it's just January 8th through the 29th, just for 50 minutes. And the first week we'll learn how to make our vision board. The second week we'll learn how to open space to bring it to life. The third week we'll learn the energy mapping. And then the fourth week will be answers. You'll also get a 30-minute design session with me so I can work with you individually. So if you have any questions or any issues, you get that with it.
And where do we go? What's the website?
I put it in the chat, by the way.
She did
So
put it in the
there.
chat. Thank you.
Do you have the coupon code?
Yeah, it's New Year.
Awesome. Does anybody have any other questions for Annette before we wrap? We have 3 whole minutes.
No questions, but I'm in. See you in enero.
I'm in too because I like doing a vision board. And to be honest, I'm going to just out myself. I haven't done one for 2024. And I was thinking to myself, maybe I just won't do one. But I'm glad that you're encouraging not just doing it on the paper thing, but also living inside of your vision board. So it's at the front of your mind and it's not just something that you've made and then put it to the side.
And if you sign up and come to the bonus January 1st and you want to bring your kids or your family, they're welcome to do it too. So it's super fun. So I know some of you had game days and playing with your kids. And so my boys did it all the way, all the time.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm just going to have us go around the room and say one word that you want to take into 2024 with you, and then we'll wrap up. So Annette, what's your word for 2024?
Effervescent.
How about you, Wendy?
Expressed.
Mine is hyphenated. It's main character. Dr. Tanya.
One word? Oh my gosh.
One.
Excitement.
Awesome. I love that one. Mina, what's your word?
Joy.
Oh, yes. Marianne, I know that's your word too. What's your word?
Well, Mina stole mine. Probably ease.
Ease. I love that.
Ease.
Carlene, what's your word for 2024?
How about flexibility?
Yes, I like it. Tanya, what's your word?
Power.
Ooh, I love it. And Dr. Sophia, what's your word?
Create.
Ooh, these are all such amazing words. I love you all. I'm going to shamelessly plug when Mary Ann and my recipe keepsake journal. It's called From the Kitchen with Love. I invite you. It's 100% free to download the Kindle copy for today and the next couple of days. So go ahead and download it. Go ahead and share it with friends and let's get it going. And in another couple of hours or maybe a day or so, we'll actually have the paperback and the hardcover. And I think it will make an amazing last minute holiday gift for anybody who you might have in mind. You'll see more about it in the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group. I'll post it on my page. Marianne will post it on her page. And I might even tag all of you so that you can see it as well. Annette, you're amazing. Thanks so much for saying yes. Everybody who showed up today, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for coming and just sharing with each other, because that's what this networking stuff is all about. And I'll see y'all next time. See you in a month, folks. Bye.
Thank you for this community. Love y'all.
I love you. Bye.
Bye.